Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Shahin Ghadir with another episode of the Fertile Life podcast. I'm very excited and honored to have Kyle Stefanski and his fiance. Is his fiance the right word? His fiance Julie with us here today. I'm very honored because you guys work so hard on something that means a lot to me. Kyle and his family has started a charitable organization that's been around for quite a while called Rhonda's Kiss. It was started in the memory of his mother, Rhonda, who passed away from cancer. It's in partnership with the City of Hope, and it helps cancer patients and their families with all non-medical expenses and financial support, helping them along the ways because there are so many things that are involved when someone is going through that journey. So I commend you guys, and I thank you guys for everything that you've done for the cancer patients and the oncology community. And I really want to discuss a lot more about that. I also am excited to have Julie here because she is a mom blogger, and we know they know a lot of things that we don't. But the one area that a lot of mom bloggers and mom patients and moms watching and listening don't know is about fertility, and we always are here to educate and to teach and to learn a lot. And you guys have had quite a journey of your own that we want to discuss because I think it's really important.
Thank you.
Welcome, both of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for those kind words.
Really Absolutely. Kyle, first of all, I also want to add that Kyle is also an actor and a producer and been involved with quite a few unbelievable movies, and we can touch base on that too because it's always exciting to me. I'm like, what if I would have been an actor or a producer? Right. Anyways, I became a doctor, and that's why we're here talking about fertile and life stuff. So on that note, congratulations and welcome. Please, I'd love to learn about how you got Rhonda's Kiss and your family decided to do this, because so many people unfortunately have sad stories in their lives and aren't able to put things together like you and your family did. So sure. I'm really curious on how this whole thing happened.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So it goes back a little bit, like the ethos of my family. We've always been philanthropic. We've always, helped out. That's been my upbringing. My parents just, wherever it was, if there was a chance for us to do anything extra, go to the soup kitchen, do whatever, it was always there. My parents were part of nonprofits. My dad was, always giving a hand to other nonprofits, consulting, being on the board, whatever it may be. So that was really ingrained in me as a young kid. So I always knew I wanted to start a nonprofit myself when I got older. And this one not just hit me, but hit our whole family right in the heart. And my mom was struck with pancreatic cancer in 2014. She passed 2 months later. With that, we couldn't really understand what had just happened. We had never been involved with cancer, and we just were stuck there without a very, very important, crucial member of our family. And, we kind of band together and we decided we got to do something about this. We got to do something with this. We got to put it somewhere. We got to make sense of it, because right now it's just, our lives are just, kind of falling apart. And we had done some work with the Cleveland Clinic, and my mom, she was treated there when she passed. So we decided we would start a foundation and do a fundraiser with the Cleveland Clinic and kind of see where it went. And, in the grain of that, we thought about it. And, individual cancer treatment itself is so expensive. How can we touch as many people's lives? How can we get out there and try to make a difference, but make an impact and, have it make sense? So we came up with, this concept of non-medical expenses. And at the time, after I became executive director, I did a lot of market research. There were no other nonprofits out there doing anything like this. So I would like to say we were one of the first of our kind. I think a few others have popped up. I know Bradley Cooper started one that's in the same family as us, very close to non-medical. I think it's supportive care, which is almost the same thing. So, we took off from there because we knew we had something, and the Cleveland Clinic relationship was so good. So we did our first fundraiser around this non-medical side of things. We wanted people to understand where their money went. Research can be somewhat of a whole. If you donate, you don't know exactly where it goes. So we really wanted it to be tangible. And our first fundraiser was, maybe 5 months after she passed at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. And we raised $600,000. Yeah.
Wow, that is impressive. And to get something up and running about 6 months later is impressive because, as I was telling you guys earlier, I started a charitable organization called Fertility for All, and the challenges that we met moving forward with that was so significant. So I commend you on being able to have that and raising $600,000 within the first year. That is very, very, very impressive.
Thank you.
And God bless your family for doing that, because that is very hard work, and I'm sure that has helped so many people in this process. The area of what we call oncofertility, which is oncology or cancer and fertility, has grown significantly because as our diagnoses have gotten better and better over time in the medical field, we're able to diagnose people at a much younger age. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, the treatments have gotten so unbelievable that many, many younger patients are completely surviving their cancer treatments and are ready to have kids afterwards, where it would have, in the old days, if they wouldn't have been able to freeze an egg or a sperm or an embryo, been unable to attack or do anything else about their fertility. So we're really proud of the fact that oncofertility has grown significantly in our world as fertility doctors.
That's fantastic. That's great to hear.
Yeah, we're going to be talking a little bit more about that. The messages that you guys give to people, which is one big one of hope.
Yeah,
I think
our through line.
That's great. So we try to do that a lot for our patients as well, especially those undergoing for cancer. When we have special programs that fertility, even the pharmaceutical companies in our industry have put together, that they don't charge for the medications, and they get it to us very quickly. So when we hear that there is a patient that has cancer and needs to talk to us, we generally get them in within 24 hours.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, within 24 hours.
Yep.
We've had to send even technicians that work in our office to the hospital. Young guy was getting chemo the next day, and that day in the hospital helped collect sperm, and we froze his sperm before he got the chemo that would have destroyed his sperm. Jeez. Or radiation. So we're really on top of it. For women, freezing their eggs actually takes a little bit longer. So we need about 2 weeks, sometimes even 3 weeks. Most oncologists really allow their patients to do that because I think they see the major benefit of doing it. And in the long run, maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks without any treatment doesn't really destroy everyone's potential for success at the end.
Sure.
Is this an area that Rhonda's KISS has discussed to see if they would be willing to help and pay for patients to work, or is it just the non-medical aspect of this?
As of right now, our umbrella mostly covers non-medical, but we definitely be open to, as this is something that I'm learning about, as we're learning about, open to this other possibility of hope. Any way that we kind of can offer that through line of hope is great for us.
Absolutely. And if there's ever a time or a place that I can help and my clinic can help, we would definitely partner up with you guys. I think for now, getting the message out there that if you're diagnosed with cancer and you are a young man or a young woman or a young couple of any way that has not completed your child rearing or your family's not complete, thinking about it and doing something beforehand is huge. I can't tell you how many patients we've had that have come to us and said, when I got diagnosed with this cancer, my oncologist never brought up with me that this chemo or radiation or whatever it was that I was going to do was actually going to go ahead and destroy my fertility for the rest of my life.
Definitely not the first thing you think about when you're struck with cancer.
No, definitely not one of the first things at all. Julie, I'm curious, how do you advocate with your voice that you have, and you're so lucky to have that voice and that following for this field?
Well, for this field, at least for the oncofertility, that I'm learning, just to touch on everything that you said, I think it's so amazing, and you're already giving so much hope. But I think when you're facing already cancer, and then the idea of maybe having your life stolen in a way and having that second chance, or just that option, or even having that conversation that you can freeze your eggs and freeze your sperm, it's just so amazing, and it's something that I think should be talked about so much more. I mean, I would be devastated if a doctor didn't tell me that, you know, chemo would like not give me a chance to have children afterwards. That's just like, for me, it's like a doctor would like killing your dreams too, you know, if, and plus like the survival and everything, like just cancer is already hard enough. But I, you know, started doing this whole thing with my blog, through my difficult postpartum experience with my son, my firstborn, and I've just been very authentic and kind of keeping it non-bullshit in the motherhood world, and just learning so much about how fertility, infertility, and pregnancy and birth and all of that is just so much more complex than what we see and what we know of.
Isn't it interesting how a authentic voice goes so far in the world of social media?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it does. I think like people want to see the real stuff at some point. They want to feel like they can relate, because a lot of people are silent on what they go through, and they don't even know what they're going through sometimes too. And then they hear stories, and
I think that silence instills such a fear in people, because when you don't hear and we don't talk and no one brings up, you know, I've been in the world of fertility now for 18 years, and I can tell you when I had just started off, it was such a hush. Like no one would want to talk about at all that they did fertility treatment or used an egg donor or using a surrogate, and everything was so secretive. And I think as that began to change, it really empowered people, men and women, not only just women, but men and women, because it taught them that so-and-so can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
You know, why not me? Why can't I go and look into this? And there's no stigma involved as like it used to. And to be honest, in LA, you know, when you're on top of it and you know that you want to have kids, and hey, I froze my embryos or I froze my eggs, it goes a long way, I think, in a positive way.
Yeah.
And people kind of look up to you these days. So we're trying to get that message out to everyone.
right. I think there's no shame in having that conversation and not making it awkward.
No, not at all.
Like,
Yeah,
it
completely
has
used to be
become something
taboo.
that's normal. It just has to, especially like in 2022. Like, we already shame women, you know, like 20 years ago for having kids at 40. Now it's becoming normal. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And so, like, freezing eggs, like having the possibility to even like contemplate it is just, it's a gift.
So let's talk a little bit about your own fertility journey. You guys have a little boy, Oliver,
We sure do.
right?
It's 4.5, yeah.
4.5. I have a 4.5-year-old. My fourth is 4.5.
Wow.
Yeah, so you guys have some catching up to
We
do.
sure do.
Okay, and it looks
Yeah.
like you're catching up really well, because you look beautifully pregnant.
Thank you so
And you're glowing.
much.
And for anyone who's
thank
just
you.
listening, Julie looks beautiful. And it
Ready
looks
to pop.
Yes, yes. So she is. We're getting
Oh,
very,
yeah.
very ready.
Yeah, very
and
ready.
we're very excited for you guys. But let's talk a little bit about it. You said that you got pregnant, it sounds like, easily with Oliver.
Yes, I got pregnant very easily, and you know, my whole pregnancy, besides like puking my brains out, was me just being in a bliss of pregnancy, having no idea how difficult it can be on the other side, and it was great.
So what happened once you delivered?
Once I delivered, you know, delivered the baby, and then the hospital was like, okay, thanks, bye. Wait, what? And I grew up in France, and the care, you know, over there is extremely different. Like, even just covered with insurance, you have someone that comes to your house and like shows you how to breastfeed, how to like bathe the baby, and here it's like crickets. So that was really new for me. And no one even told me.
By the way, do you know that there are countries that have, they're almost like hotels or clinics that after you deliver, in China, after you deliver, you go to a postpartum hotel where they take care of you for 6 weeks. And in the world of fertility, there is a word for the first 6 weeks after called the puerperium, where you are recovering. That is the time that if you don't rest and if you don't sleep and if you don't eat well and someone doesn't take good care of you, you have no breast milk. You have a miserable time, and it's
Miserable.
something that in this country of ours, the lovely USA, is completely ignored.
Oh, so ignored. I mean, it's a shame. It's like women are machines.
You're supposed to look amazing and perfect a week later and be back at work 2 weeks later.
Right.
And you're supposed to still breastfeed and do every single thing you can and be mentally on top of it and back to normal while your hormones internally are a mess.
And it's like viewed as not normal, which is completely natural and just the way it should go. The pressure is insane here. So that's that was just a wake-up call for me postpartum. And I had postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, postpartum depletion because I was not getting any sleep. And I had held like one newborn in my whole life when like I had Oliver. So that's what like really pushed me to do my blog of just writing about my experience, but with no judgment, no do's, no don'ts, just kind of like, this is what it is, take it or leave it. Just authentic again of like, what is this bullshit? Like, what have you guys sold every women in the world right now that this is so easy, picture perfect.
It is so hard.
It is so hard when you're in it and you're struggling. And I think like every woman struggle at some point postpartum. It's a reality. It's not like a shame or anything.
I think there is not one woman in the world who has delivered, and after delivery, especially of your first child, it has not been incredibly difficult. Yeah. I mean, as an OBGYN resident that delivered, I did about probably 1,000 deliveries in my 4 years of residency before I went to fertility. Delivery in itself can be rather traumatic. Mm-hmm. And very, very few people were bouncing up the next day and walking around like normal. Right. And if they were, it's definitely not their first child. Right. So I hope in your blog, so you're addressing postpartum issues all the time, I'm assuming.
Yes, I am.
What is the most common topic that you talk about on the blog?
I think it's like the most common topic that I talk about is postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, just kind of going with the flow and of motherhood and just not being scared to ask questions, not being nervous to do things wrong, which there's no right and wrong, and it's just you're going to struggle, you're going to be exhausted, you're not going to recognize yourself, you're going to have all these issues that I think at some point are actually going to make who you are as a woman eventually in your experience of motherhood. And that's just a way, like, at some point of just accepting it and validating it. And the more women are like, doing this as a team with other women, I think that's when like we're gonna get more in sync and more happier with just having children and just a connection with other women. Women can be really like shitty with other women through motherhood. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, we need to all learn to be there for each other first of all. Yeah. And if in France they send a nurse home, why is it that we can't do that here? And I think that's a good thing to
It's a luxury.
It's a big luxury. Yes, if you want to have like the breast pumping coach come to your house afterwards, been there, done that. Yeah. And those things are rather challenging. How do you partake in Rhonda's Kiss? Does your blog have anything to do with helping onco patients, cancer patients as well?
So my blog is separate from Rhonda's Kiss, but definitely Kyle and I
She was like my right hand person when I started Rhonda's Kiss. My family and we started in Cleveland, but then I branched out and took it to Los Angeles. Now, I didn't have any team out here, so it's kind of around the time that her and I met, that a little after, but like that's when Rhonda's Kiss was going, and she helped me with everything. That's and then so nice. It got bigger, and then she got pregnant, and we've been going in different directions since, but I always cherish those moments.
That's so nice. Do you have a annual gala, or what is the main way that you guys raise funds?
The main way that we raise funds is we do in-person galas. Not in the past, a couple years. It's been virtual, but we usually do one in LA, one in New York, one in Cleveland. Well, the New York is starting this year, and one in Cleveland. So I'd like to get 2 in LA just because I live out here. If we can make it happen, we do. But 2 big galas a year is already a lot for me because I have another job.
When is the next one in LA?
LA is going to be sometime. We haven't narrowed down the date. It's going to be somewhere in April or May. Probably, I would say, it looks like I would say early May.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Well, we definitely need
You would
to.
have to join.
I would love
Please,
to. I'd love to
please.
be a part of it. It's something that I
Yes.
truly, truly believe in so many different ways.
Thank you.
Getting back to your pregnancy journey, I know that after your first delivery that was challenging and you've bounced back and you look great.
Thank you.
What happened after that?
So after that, we wanted to try again, and we had a little bit of more difficulty of getting pregnant, which was, one of those light bulbs. They're like, oh, why is my body not working as well this time? And then we eventually finally did, and second time around, second rodeo. Oh yeah, no big deal. Like, I got this. Everything's gonna be fine. Which, I think is also another thing where we kind of like don't realize how every baby is a miracle and how every pregnancy is different. And then, unfortunately, we didn't have like a great outcome. I had like a very sudden, out of nowhere stillbirth at 30 weeks. Just
Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that.
no diagnosis, no reasons, and that's like that's pretty devastating. And
I remember as an OBGYN resident, that was devastating.
yeah,
To just have to tell someone and to help them through that process. It is just not easy and not fun.
no.
And I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that.
Thank
But as you said, these are all the things that are forming us as human beings,
Mm-hmm.
and making us stronger moms, stronger dads, stronger human beings.
Yeah.
And,
And-
go ahead, sorry.
And more caring too. That's when I realized, like, I looked around and I was like, wow, like there's way more stuff that I didn't know about this world, like infertility, IVF, women
for
that
sure.
are,
Absolutely.
waiting for their miracle baby, and pregnancies that don't go the way that it should be going, like its portrait, and just all that stuff. And like, we even considered at some point like freezing our eggs after that happened. We had to look at our options, like even do we have the courage to try again? Like, it's just, that raises a lot of questions. And things like you're doing, having those options on the table, being able, like that, it was even there, is like, that's why it's truly a gift.
How many kids do you guys want to have? Do you know?
We haven't settled on a number. That definitely threw us for a loop. I would say 2 is definitely going to be fantastic for now. 3 might be nice.
Well, he
But
wants
we'll
another one after
yeah.
this one, which is,
I wasn't a big fan. I had 5 kids in my family.
wow. That's
so,
great.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But it is a lot. That's for sure.
It's a lot of work. My wife is one of 4, and she wanted for sure to have 4 as well. And I'm only one of 2, and my sister and I both looked at each other one day and we're like, we gotta have more kids. We gotta expand this family. So
Yeah.
it is definitely a lot of work, but then I think it pays off at some time.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of beauty that goes with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it this way. We are not going to hold you to anything right now. We want you to have a beautiful and healthy delivery now.
yes.
And get through the postpartum, and hopefully,
Yeah, we're focused.
because of a lot of things that you expected and knew, it's going to be an easier transition for you afterwards,
Yeah.
which would be really, really nice.
Yeah.
But then maybe we can talk about if we need to save you some
Some
embryos,
eggs,
yes,
yeah.
or some eggs.
Yeah.
So usually we encourage women that are single to make sure they freeze their eggs. When someone is in a relationship and they're going to be having kids with each other again, we actually like to make the embryo. So we like to put the egg and the sperm together. Because once you put an egg and a sperm together and it's an embryo and we allow it to grow for a week in our lab, we're also able to do a tiny biopsy on it and then see if it's genetically normal.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes, and then we can tell you, you have this many boys, this many girls. If you don't want to know the gender, we also conceal that from you. Do you know what you're having this time?
We do.
What are you
We
having?
do.
Oh, is it a surprise?
No,
Oh.
go ahead.
We are having a girl this
Oh,
time.
how sweet.
Wow,
Yes.
sweet.
How sweet. Oliver's
Yeah.
going to be a big brother to a little sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very cool.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's really, really beautiful.
Thank you.
So, with that being said, I am so happy to have had you guys here today. I learned so much about the two of you so quickly.
Thank you. Yeah,
you
we're
are
pretty
both
open.
very, very open and very authentic. And I don't know why I feel like I've known you guys for so long, just sitting here, just having this conversation. Is there anything else that you wanted to let us know about Rhonda's kid? Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted
Sure.
to talk a little bit about your acting career and
Sure.
being the producer.
Sure, absolutely. What do you want to ask?
So, your roles? You've done quite a few different roles. What's your favorite kind of role that you do?
Well, I have done different kind of roles. I've also gotten a lot of gangster roles.
I wonder why.
The ones that his son can't watch.
Pretty much. I've done a lot of gangster films, which is the latest film I'm doing coming out. We're shooting March 14th.
Has anyone by chance ever told you have the voice of a gangster?
I get New York a lot. Maybe that's what they're trying to say.
Well, maybe because New Yorkers are all gangsters. I don't know.
Maybe that's what they're trying to. I know exactly. So maybe they're inferring that for sure.
That's so cool. So what's coming up for you in the acting and you're also a producer too?
Yes, I'm a producer as well. I started off acting. I did about 6 features and then decided to start a production company with a good friend of mine who's a writer-director. We kind of had both pieces between us, and so we put it together. We shot a TV show during the pandemic called Tiger Dick. It was Andy Dick. It was kind of a spoof on Tiger King, and it's still being shopped right now. We did a film called I Love Us that came out September 17th of last year. It's a crime drama. It's in the vein of Family Man. You ever seen Family Man?
Yep.
Sliding doors effect. Your life could be one way had you gone this direction or another way. And it's got Katie Cassidy, Robert Davi, Danny Abacazar, our director. I just produced that one because I wanted to focus on the producing, make sure we got a good feature out there. This one is called The Gemini Lounge. It is about the Roy DeMeo crew. Roy DeMeo crew was a very, very violent, bloody gang underneath the Paul Castellano and the Gambino family, late 70s, early 80s. I don't know how much you want to know about the Gemini method, which is very bloody, very gory, but they killed probably, close to 250 people.
Wow, lovely people. Lovely people.
Not for any specific gang reasons that you would think. They just started to enjoy killing people, and so very true story. Never been told before. A lot of people are interested in that world, and those who are will really, really be fascinated with this story.
Well, I wish you the best of luck on that movie,
and
we look forward to seeing it.
We just signed on Emil Hirsch as one of the lead males. So,
congratulations!
Thank you.
It's going to be a great
It'll be
feature.
fun. It'll be fun.
Well, I want to thank you guys both. The importance of spreading the messages that you both do on your mom blog and for helping cancer patients are huge in our community and in our world and our country.
Thank you.
The idea of being nice to one another and helping other people is one that sometimes I feel we're forgetting about in this country. Mm-hmm. So thanks for bringing that back to everyone's attention.
Thank you.
And again, I want to thank you both. If people want to know where exactly to go ahead and follow and learn more about Rhonda's Kiss and Julie about your mom blog, can you please, Julie, let us know how they can follow and learn more about you?
They can find my blog at themommycodes.com, and my Instagram is at Julie Barzman. And yeah, I hope to get mamas in my little audience and just be nice to each other and support one another.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And Kyle, why don't you kind of let us know how people can get more involved
Sure.
with Rhonda's Kiss?
Absolutely. You can go to Rhonda's Kiss online at www.rhondaskiss.org. You can check out our social media at Rhonda's Kiss. And if you'd like to donate and get involved, on our website we have a donate page. Go check it out there, and you can donate either any approved amount. You can donate. Can we redo that last part?
Of course.
You can donate. I'm just going to leave it at you can donate.
Okay. So just go ahead and say it again.
Go to Rhonda's Kiss at www.rhondaskiss.org, and you can go to the donate page to leave a donation. thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you again both for joining me today. And thank you everybody for listening to another episode of the Fertile Life podcast. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and be nice to each other.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure. Thank you.